Hey everyone, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the July 2020 monthly tarot reading for the sign of Leo. Please keep in mind this is a general reading, so it's not going to apply to each and every one of you. However, you can take a look at this month's reading in regards to your sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. So do take a look at your natal chart, see the corresponding zodiac signs, and see which video's title resonates for you most at this time. As I said, it's a general reading, so please don't force it to your situation if none of it resonates. Take what does, leave the rest, all right? So just to let you know, I have a couple of quick announcements. So before we go into the reading itself, I'd just like to quickly mention a couple of things. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing my videos. It means the world to me to get your support. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this content, but also to let me know your thoughts and how this applies to your situation. I do read all the comments, so thank you so much. And the first announcement I have is in relation to this coming month. So with July just around the corner, I decided that it being my birthday month, that I'll be offering a special discount on all personal readings for the entire month. So you can now get 10% off all personal readings with me. All you have to do is go to my Facebook page, the link for which is in the description box below, and you can also find it here. All right. So do check out the services tab so you can see the spreads that I provide and also the pricing. Just keep in mind that they are the original prices, so they don't include the 10%, all right? So keep that in mind when you look at them. And also don't forget to send me a DM so we can discuss what type of reading you would like. And then finally, my last announcement is in relation to a bonus reading. So in the month of July, to celebrate further, I will be offering a special live Instagram session where I'll be doing a bonus reading for all signs, okay? So a general reading on my Instagram. So if you haven't followed me already, highly recommend that you go to my channel, click on the little icon in the banner, which has the little Instagram icon, and then hit the follow button, okay? So that way you don't miss any of the live stream. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to do it. So I will put up an announcement video with a time and date for when that will be taking place in July. I haven't decided yet, so stay tuned for that. All right. So Leo, let's see what's happening for you guys in the month of July. So I've already shuffled your cards, but I like to do a couple more shuffles on camera. So yeah, let's see what's coming up for you. Lots of things changing for the collective. Every sign so far is having to face certain emotionally charged situations, things from the past resurfacing, which makes sense with the retrogrades, and getting to a space of inner peace, really focusing on self-care, healing, and personal growth. So we'll see how these energies may apply for you in the month of July, Leo. Okay. So I'll get the main spread out as I always do. We'll go through the key energies here, and then we'll go over the clarification cards afterwards. All right, we are now ready. So Leo, in regards to your present circumstances, you have the Mother of Swords in reverse. So air energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Could be dealing with any of those signs or have them strongly in your chart. Regardless, I feel like you were trying to take a stance on something, but I think maybe your ego got the better of you, right? With this energy being in reverse, I feel like you were trying to come across as someone who is very self-assured, that is unwavering when it comes to their boundaries in terms of how they see things, their principles, right? But I think actually that the way in which you communicated or conducted yourself was maybe a bit immature, and it came across as wanting to strike and cause harm rather than discuss, right? So we'll see that, but that's the initial feeling I got from this energy here. So in regards to what's your challenge at this time, you have the Five of Swords in reverse. I feel like you were trying to, again, like you're trying to find a way to get your point across, right? To discuss something, and your thoughts, right? You're trying to communicate your thoughts clearly and concisely in a way that it would be understood and registered exactly how you meant it. However, I feel like wires got crossed, and it may have become rather than a conflict or a misunderstanding being resolved, it may have just turned into a bigger conflict or a bigger disagreement, to the point where both parties just stormed off, right? It's that kind of energy. And you are being asked to address where this keeps happening, what went wrong, what's not working in the communication, right? Was it better to have said something in a different way, or perhaps better to have just left it as it is and walk away rather than ramming skulls? That's the kind of things you have to look at this time so that it doesn't continue. In regards to your recent past, you have the Sun of Wands in reverse, so your energy as well as Aries and Sagittarius. So this is the Knight of Wands in reverse. So I think maybe you do come across sometimes as a bit immature, a bit fiery. Sometimes you may come across as maybe even stubborn or a bit petulant. And it's not because that's how you are necessarily, but it's just the way you can come across. And I think that's a key theme here, especially with Mercury in retrograde at the moment. I think you're seeing where maybe the way you communicate in certain scenarios doesn't come across in the best way. So people think that, that you're uncaring, that you're not interested in what the other person has to say, that you can be argumentative, petulant, things of that nature. But that's not necessarily how you are at all. It's just wires get crossed and you didn't necessarily communicate in the best way. You may have said something out of turn as well that kind of fueled that further. So I feel like you're trying to get past that. You're trying to find a way or change who you communicate with and how you express yourself. Because maybe you feel like you just cannot see eye to eye with certain people here, but we'll see. Okay, in regards to your near future, you have the Two of Wands in reverse, so more fire energy. You are feeling out of sorts, right? And I feel like in the near future, you'll have no choice but to address where maybe you need to take a look at how you're doing things, the energy that you're currently operating in. What is it that you're trying to accomplish when you have these kinds of discussions and confrontations? Is it that you want to achieve mutual understanding, or is it that you just want to express yourself at any cost, regardless of how this makes someone else feel or how it comes across to that person, or whether or not that person feels like you're wanting a confrontation, right? So you may be forced to look at yourself in that way and see how you come across, right? You might even find that something gets recorded and this person or someone else plays it back to you, and you see, back how you come across. And you might think, oh my God, I didn't realize it comes across that way. That's not how I mean to express myself, right? So you may be in a situation where it forces you to look at that, right? So you can see where maybe you are instigating some of these arguments or instigating some of these notions or perceptions of how you are that you feel is false, right? So in regards to your feelings at this time, you have the Eight of Cups. So water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is it. This is you going off to do some introspective work. You're like, maybe I didn't handle that in the best way, especially if there was a big fight, something that escalated, or some kind of disagreement, not seeing eye to eye with someone. Maybe you walked separate ways, possibly split up with someone, or you just severed a connection, or, decided you're not going to fight with this person anymore, whoever it is, possibly from the past. And by walking away, you're having to think about it. As much as you feel like you're walking away from all of this drama and baggage and negative emotions, you're also not just walking away from that situation and that person, but you're also walking towards, introspection and really having to mull over why this keeps reoccurring. Is it because this person is just purely argumentative and picks fault at what you're doing? And is wanting a rise out of you, or is there another reason? Is there something that you may be doing as well to trigger that? You know, because usually it's not just on one person's shoulders, it falls on all parties involved, right? So something worth looking at. And I feel like that's what you're going to do. You're going to take some time out to really assess, you know, what is actually happening, not just how you're feeling in the heat of the moment, but what is actually occurring when these arguments take place. So in regards to what's crowning you at this time, you have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Yeah, I mean, that's it. You can't really close the cycle out until you address all the things that are kind of toxic, how you manifest potentially on your side as well as other people's side, manifest negative situations, right? Negative scenarios, negative consequences from not being able to express things purely from the heart, but allowing the mind, your ego, the shadow aspects to kind of take the reins. So that's what you're kind of being forced to do at this time. It's forcing you to do that introspective work so you can see where fault really lies, you know, rather than just pointing fingers at each other in the heat of the moment. Okay. So in regards to your advice at this time, you have the Temperance card. So Sagittarius energy, you could very well be dealing with a Sagittarius, right? But either way, I feel like you are being brought to a place where you're being forced to look at this because it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't bring you towards anything healthy, right? So if you can find a more diplomatic approach to problem solving, to communicating issues, right? And be a calming effect on the situation rather than an antagonist, because I feel like that's how you kind of get seen as well. That's going to really not only help you, but it's going to help all of your interpersonal relationships moving forward. Because as I said, I feel like this is a reoccurring theme for you, that this keeps coming up. Possibly for those of you who I'm picking up on, that this has been a long-term issue that is now you're being forced to address head on, pretty much. Okay, so in regards to your external influences, so this can be people, places, environments, situations that are playing out. So everything outside of yourself. You have the Father of Wands. Okay, so strong fire energy, like I said, could very well be dealing with a Sagittarius, or at least a Sagittarius or someone with strong Sagittarius in their chart who is tied into this situation. But regardless whether or not they're a fire sign, they embody this energy. You know, you trigger them, right? You trigger them, and once they are triggered, they then come at, you know, full force at you, right? And then when you are triggered by them, you come at them with this energy. So you mirror each other essentially, right? That you get very heated, you get very passionate about your thoughts, your feelings, your principles. Same with this person. And it just becomes a bickering match. It just becomes like a slinging match of words and venom and, you know, wanting to one-up each other, right? So it doesn't lead to anything positive. It just causes more conflict, and, you know, neither one wants to back down, and, you know, someone has to be the victor, someone has to be right, and it doesn't lead to anything. You just end up back around this merry-go-round of just conflict. Okay. So clarifying your hopes at this time, you have the Three of Pentacles, Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You are looking at you're looking at your ability to communicate with others, how to reach others. You know, like I said, your interpersonal skills, your soft skills, you're readdressing that because it's an issue that keeps coming up, as I said. So you are looking at that, and possibly you're even getting advice from someone who you see as a mentor or is very good at dealing with people, maybe some kind of mediator type personality, or someone you see as a caregiver, possibly two different people. One you see as a mediator or a diplomat, the other one that you see as a caregiver, who's very in tune with their own emotional state and has very high emotional intelligence. But I feel like regardless, you may be getting some advice from these people where you feel like maybe you're not able to see where you can get confrontational or where you can come across as condescending, demeaning, patronizing, or dismissive in some way, any of those things, right? So they're helping you to see more clearly how you may be triggering people, right? In certain situations. Okay. And I think that you're wanting that help as well, actually, with this being in your hopes, right? I think you're wanting that help. So you may very well reach out to them very soon if you haven't already, because you know you're going to get sound advice and that they'll want to help you, right? So everything they tell you will just be coming from a good place of wanting to help you. So in regards to your fears, you have the Magician in reverse. So you're afraid that... I think you're afraid of being powerless in a situation, or being, of feeling like you're being overpowered, right, in the situation. That if you don't assert your position, if you don't try and steer the conversation or try and manipulate the situation in some capacity, that you're going to lose any authority or power within that, right, in that situation, or with this person, that this person's going to walk all over you. And that's why you have to be in this energy of the Magician. But so your fear is that, yeah, if you don't do that, then you're going to be walked over, you're going to be treated as a pushover. But that's not necessarily the case. It depends on the people that you're dealing with, right? So we'll see when we clarify. And then finally, in regards to your potential outcome, you have the 10 of Cups in reverse. Water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So you're being forced to readdress your emotions, how you react to your emotions. If when you're in this situation, are you happy with the outcome? Is this what you want, right? Is this the way you want your interactions to go? I get the feeling probably not, just an educated guess. But yeah, so you're having to look at that. You're having to look at how you communicate with others, why things get so heated and things get so entangled and chaotic and explosive, right? Because ultimately you don't want this. You want positive interactions. You want to strengthen your connections, right? Or certain connections. And you don't want to have to feel like you're constantly ramming skulls, right, with the people closest to you. Because I feel like this is not just it's not just one connection that's been affected by this, but it's something that's reoccurring. So we'll see. Okay, so let's go into the clarifications with the intuitive. So as I said, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you feel like there's anything about this that doesn't resonate for you, and it is an intuitive reading. This is the energy I'm getting, so it's only going to apply to those who are aware that this is the kind of situation that's playing out, right? This is not going to be for everybody. Okay, so let's get into the clarification. So in regards to your current circumstances, the Queen of Swords in reverse, you have the Fool card, Aries energy, and you have the Moon card, Pisces energy. Who else just had that? I think it was Scorpio. You may very well be dealing with a Scorpio, because this is the exact cards that Scorpio got as well as a potential outcome. So interesting. Okay, I did not see that coming, but yeah, you could be dealing with a Scorpio. But regardless, I feel like, yeah, okay. So I feel like you were triggered and you responded to something potentially not in the best way, that came across as kind of childish, petulant, argumentative, confrontational, not very wise. And that's because you were triggered. Someone hit a nerve, something that you're not ready to face yourself, right? Someone hit a truth that was very close to home. And that triggered the hell out of your shadow, right? It brought some things to the surface that you wasn't potentially even aware of, or certain behaviors or actions or thoughts or feelings that you weren't even necessarily aware of that you were doing. And as such, that triggered you to the point where you said whatever you needed to say to ensure that this person takes a hike, leaves you alone, right? Because you were triggered by it. It had an emotional effect on you. So you made sure you said something that would push them away pretty much. That's what I'm getting from this. In regards to your challenge, the 5 of Swords in reverse here, you have the 9 of Cups in reverse and the Magician. So you have the Magician in the upright this time, and you had it in reverse in regards to your fears, whereas this is in regards to your challenge. So the challenge is not coming from a place of wanting to manipulate a set of circumstances and, you know, for your own gain, for your own ego's sake, right? But communicating from an authentic place where you truly want the best possible outcome, where you want to gain true understanding, so that, you know, when you put your efforts, your energy, and your intention behind something, it's coming from a positive place. It's coming from the right energy and not from something toxic or something that's only going to benefit your ego, right? Pretty much. So that's the challenge here for you, to manifest from the right energy. Okay. In regards to your past circumstances, the Sun of Wands in reverse, you have the Lovers in reverse, Gemini energy, could be dealing with a Gemini, and you have the 7 of Swords, right? So more energy as well. So I feel like in the past, yeah, you came across as very like childish, petulant, argumentative, not very serious, maybe a bit aloof, not really interested in what the other person has to say, you know, just very disimpassioned, you know, just not there, pretty vacant when it comes to communicating with a certain person, right? And as such, you know, it came across this person that any feelings you may have had for them, or any desire that you had to build a foundation with them, a relationship, a connection, to patch a connection, was founded on lies, right? That's not what you truly wanted. What you wanted is to gain the upper hand and to feel like you're in control in some capacity. So that's why the person felt maybe triggered by you even, and maybe that's where some of your arguments came from. Because with the 7 of Swords, that indicates dishonesty. They believed that there was dishonesty in the connection, right? And in the way you were expressing your feelings towards the connection. Okay. So in regards to your near future, the 2 of Wands in reverse, you have the Ace of Swords in reverse, and you have the Ace of Cups in the upright. That's crazy. Okay. So yeah, you're going to be shown, like, listen, the way you express yourself isn't indicative of how you truly feel. You are a very caring person. You have a lot of love to give. You are very emotionally charged. And therefore, sometimes you say things without thinking it through, and then it brings about a certain outcome, right? So rather than allowing your thoughts and, you know, your initial thoughts and your, you know, sort of left-brained thinking to express things of a more heart-centered nature, it has to come from the heart. It has to come from within, you know. Allow your soul to do the speaking rather than your brain, right? Because you don't always communicate your true thoughts and feelings, you know, in a very accurate way when you're coming from that space, right? When you're just coming from cold hard logic. It has to come from the heart. So you're being challenged on the way in which you express yourself, right? And like I said, you may even be shown messages or a video or a voice recording that lets you see how you come across, right? When you're not in the heat of the moment, someone can then show you, say, listen, this is what you do. This is how you self-sabotage, right? And you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize I do that, right? So something like that could come up for you, okay? So in regards to your feelings, the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Cups here, you have the Knight of Wands in the upright this time, and you have the Ace of Pentacles. All these aces, wow. So you have a new shot. Like when you go off and do this introspective work, you'll have a new way of reevaluating how you express what it is that you want. Okay, so you're like, okay, like I understand now how that can come across. I understand that, you know, my true intention doesn't always come across in the way in which I deliver it. You know, the delivery is off, not my intention. My intention is pure and unwavering, but it doesn't come across that way. It comes across as, you know, egocentric, right? And I'm just doing it to be perceived in a certain way. So I need to really challenge how I come across, you know, because it's not indicative of how I truly feel. So you're going to be assessing that, is what I'm getting. Okay. So in regards to what's crowning you at this time, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, you have the 2 of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. This is a crazy reading. Okay, so yeah, this is it. You know, you're having to address the toxic attributes that you bring to a situation by your energy being all messed up, pretty much. When you're coming from the head and not the heart, when you're coming from ego rather than love, right? And that's what you're being challenged upon. It's like you go back and forth between expressing your authentic thoughts and feelings and expressing it from a place of ego. And the only way to overcome that is to really just allow your true feelings to come to the surface. Allow that to do the talking for you. Allow that to move you forward, right? Rather than thinking like, oh, what should I say next, and carefully constructing an argument. Just express how you truly feel, right? In all situations. Okay. So in regards to your advice here, the Temperance card, you have the Queen of Pentacles and you have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So you could be dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Regardless, you are being told that, yes, you need to center yourself. You need to look at how you communicate and, you know, find a more diplomatic, grounded approach to expressing your ideas, expressing your feelings, your thoughts, your stance, right? Your beliefs, what it is you want to harvest, the things that you want to, the ideas you want to plant in the minds of others, right? Sowing positive seeds, doing it with the right energy, the right intention, right? And not forcing it upon people at any cost, right? Because understanding that only causes conflict. So allowing it to come from the right place with the right energy. So in regards to your external influences, the King of Wands here, you have the 7 of Pentacles and you have the 10 of Wands in reverse. So yeah, this is really like, yeah, there is someone that you're clashing with a lot. Like I get really strong fire sign energy from them also. But I feel like this is actually helping you, right? That this turbulent situation is helping your personal growth. It's helping you to see where you'd be best putting your time and effort into really working on, you know, what things it's worth putting your time and effort into doing the work, right, for. So when it comes to your connections, the way you express yourself, take into account the ideas and the feelings and, you know, the emotions of others, you know, understanding that it's got to be a mutual give and take exchange, that the energy should flow and it shouldn't be clashing constantly, that sort of thing, right? Understanding that, you know, if you don't invest in these skills, right, and if you're not flexible and open to challenging yourself and really kind of putting the work in those areas, then how are you going to stop these issues from arising? How are you going to prevent further conflicts from arising, right? It's not going to happen. And that maybe there's a specific connection that you want to save, that you want to invest in and put the work into. But unless this is addressed, it will be left behind for good, right? So in regards to your hopes, the Three of Pentacles here, you have the Four of Cups in reverse and you have the Emperor in reverse. So this is Aries energy, right? Could be dealing with an Aries or one of these people that you want to receive some assistance and guidance from could be an Aries, right? But I feel like this is more your energy. You're feeling like an Emperor in reverse. You're feeling like, okay, I have accomplished many things, right? I've got myself in a much better position with a great deal of many things in my life. However, this thing is the thing that's fucking me up at the moment, because it just, all it does is create conflict and stop me from being able to even explore whether or not a connection or a situation can be saved, right? There's no opportunity for that, because every time I try to do something differently, it ends up with the same result. So you're wanting to seek advice from these people who you're aware that has that aspect down, you know, that is very, very good when it comes to those things. Like I said, a mediator, a diplomat, a caregiver in terms of the personality types, right? So that's what I'm getting from that. In regards to your fears, the Magician in reverse, you have the Three of Wands in reverse and you have the Devil. So Capricorn energy could have in your chart, could be relevant regardless. It's saying here that, yeah, you're manifesting a lot of the time from a place of fear, and that's why your manifestations doesn't come together in the way that you would exactly like them to, because you're thinking that if you don't manipulate a certain situation, if you're not thinking about the next step, the next move, you're literally playing a game of chess when you're interacting with certain people, and that is not a healthy way to approach any connection of any description, whether it's your friends, your family, colleagues, partners, you know, relationships, things of that nature. It's not a healthy way to approach it. If you see every move as a game of chess, then obviously you're not going to attract the things that you truly want. It just doesn't work like that, right? Of course, it's important to be aware of, you know, the causes and effects, cause and consequences of our actions, our thoughts, you know, the things that we speak into existence, laws of attraction, using that to, you know, benefit ourselves and those we're you know, entangled with. But if you're coming from a very manipulative space that's very self-serving, because you want to remain in control and have all the power in a situation and feel like you can bend people's will to your own, that's very toxic, and you have to address that right now. Just being honest, right? Because I feel like for a few of you, that's probably the case. For others of you, it's a case of that if you don't do that, if you don't try and manipulate the situation or think what they might throw at you next, especially in the case of an argument, you're already thinking of a counter argument and not listening to what they're saying, because you're afraid that if you don't do that, then they're going to try and overpower you, make you feel less than, make you feel like they have won the argument, and that nothing that you do or say is going to have an effect, right? And that actually, you know, they're not waiting to see what you have to say in order to assist you or to really try and find some middle ground, but just that, you know, they want to throw something at you and you want to throw something back, you know, and you just want to play tennis pretty much. So, yeah, okay. So finally, in regards to your potential outcome, the 10 of Cups in reverse here, you have the 3 of Swords in reverse and you have the 6 of Swords in reverse. So you have 3 and 6 here as well. So you have 3. So yeah, I feel like you're going to get some assistance in this process. I think your higher self and the ascended masters are trying to help you see sense. They're trying to shake sense into you, because they're seeing you bash your head against the same wall when for them the answer is so clear, but you're not seeing it necessarily, not until this is kind of slapped in your face, you know, the reality of what you're doing, right? But from there, it's like, okay, if you don't start addressing these these issues and where they stem from, you know, why you get into these complicated, emotionally charged situations, arguments, you know, drama all across the board. If you don't really pinpoint where that comes from, then it's not going to change, you know. And ultimately, it's a case of what you really want is to free yourself from any upset and pain and anger, right? Turbulent situations, things that, like I said, drama, just so much drama, things that drain your energy, things that keep you up at night, give you a headache, make you feel like shit, you know, things that make you feel bad. So it needs to be addressed head on so you can release yourself from this energy and get into a space of peace, you know, so your mind is peaceful, your heart's at peace, and just can flow, right? The energy can flow from within and out of yourself. But right now, it's like that's the challenge for you, is to address where on your side of things you could be doing things differently, where you need to change your energy, change your perspective, change how you go about communicating with others, all right? Because like I said, even if you feel like there is certain people that antagonize you, that are triggering you, you are triggering them also, right? And you can only do things from your side. You can't control necessarily what someone else is going to do. So it's a case of, okay, so look at it. What is it that triggers you? What is it they do that triggers you? What is it that you do that seems to trigger them? You know, did you express yourself in the way you wish to come across, or did it come across differently? Did they understand what you're saying? Did they get what you were truly trying to communicate? You know, these are the things you need to look at. So, Leo, I hope this helps you anyway. I know that might seem like I'm bashing you a little bit, but it's not like that at all. It's just to help you get past these kinds of scenarios and not having these same types of conflicts, right? Because it's something you can easily overcome with a bit of work. So it's worth looking at it and see where maybe you can, you know, really just grow and mature and release any tendencies to let your ego do the talking, is what I'm saying, all right? So I hope this helps you. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you're notified when the next reading comes up for you. In the meantime, sending you lots of love, lots of encouragement. You can do this. You got this, okay? And I will speak to you again very soon in your next reading.